Hi everybody, this is Phil Stewart from Hybrid Me. Just doing a short video today talking you through some of the new practice features that are available through the combination of Jack Nicklaus Perfect Golf and the work that's been done at onlinegolftour.net. In previous videos I've compared Jack Nicklaus Perfect Golf to the Golf Club software. I have a strong preference for Jack Nicklaus Perfect Golf, mainly due to the quality control around the courses. I particularly like the tour that's being run and the fact that it's got APIs that can enforce everybody playing under fair conditions and make it very competitive. There's a great user community as well for being able to play social games in the evening. There's lots of different game modes. The software itself within is able to, I think, have up to around 180 courses at the moment, a mix of real and fictional, and new courses being designed every week. So we're pretty much able to play most of the competitions, most of the courses that are being used within the PGA Tour, and that's quite exciting. When it comes to proper practice tools though, a lot of the time people feel that they may need to be buying or using other software. If you've got a GC2, it might be FR1 or the FSX software, which is, got a high price point. If you're going with a SkyTrack, and Hybrid Me are a reseller for SkyTrack, if anybody is looking to purchase, please click on the referral link on the website. SkyTrack, you might be thinking you need to go into the SkyTrack improvement software and the SkyTrack app itself if you want to do serious practice and work on your numbers. Because within Jack Nicklaus Perfect Golf, you have the driving range, but there's no real ability to go back and look at the history of shots and analyse your data. Well, that has actually changed, mainly due to a lot of the great work that's been done at onlinegolftour.net. Anyone that may not be familiar with the guys at OGT, effectively they've set up a world tour. You can register and it's about $20 for a season. So in the summer, that'll give you access to all of the weekly competitions, and then another $20 to register for the winter season, where there'll be at least 2 competitions each week. I'll show you my screen so you get an idea for what's happening this week. If I go into my tournaments tab, these are the tournaments I've registered for. There's a current exhibition tournament, which is just for virtual prize money. There's a team scramble, which is a fantastic way of playing, where I'll be getting together with 3 other guys on the tour. We'll be chatting and playing online, and effectively it's a scramble, so only one of us needs to hit a good shot each time, and it's a fun way, without too much pressure, of being able to compete with other teams. Then there's a tour event each week. One of the benefits of Jack Nicklaus and OGT is that the tours are regulated. There are APIs to make sure people aren't cheating. Everybody's playing under the same conditions, the same stimp, and that's one of the really strong benefits that stands out when you're comparing this to other virtual tours that are available. But then there are also some practice tools, and I'm going to talk you through these. So effectively, there's a lot of combines. People that aren't familiar with the combines, it's where effectively you can work your way through your bag, hitting 6 shots with a 6 shots aimed at 60-yard pin, and then 6 shots at 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 140, up to 180. And at that point, you're then hitting a drive. So it allows you to kind of build up scores, try and build up consistency. The game will actually track how far you are away from the pin each time, and then there's leaderboards. So it's an exciting way of being able to kind of practice on your game, but also take on people. So if you go to OGT, go to play, where you go to tour, so you do need to register for an account. And as I mentioned, you can contact the guys at OGT if you'd like an account. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments under the video. If you go to the tours, this is where you can see the simulated tour and the active tournaments that are happening this week. So I've mentioned already that there's an exhibition, a scramble. Q School is the qualifier tournaments. You have challenge competitions, things like closest to the pin. But OGT combines are the combines. So as I mentioned, the full combine involves hitting 6 shots at each distance, and it takes a bit of time, and certainly for the inconsistent players like myself, I tend to get frustrated when I start hitting a few dud shots. But there's some of the shorter combines, or if you really want to work on a particular part of your game, then the short game is for kind of wedge play. There's lots of different shot setups where you're in a bunker, you've got a bit of a slope going one way or the other. The putting lets you just work on the putting, driver the same. Approach shots is kind of the longer shots to the green. And the one-shot combine is the one I particularly like. It's where instead of hitting 6 shots with each club, you literally have 1 shot at 60 yards, 1 shot at 70, 80, and it puts a bit more pressure on it. When you score, depending on how far away you are from the pin, which is shown here, you're able to see how well you've scored at each shot, and then an average or the total combine score comes at the end. So I'm V8 Burble, for anyone that isn't familiar with my online username, and I'm certainly doing better on the one-shot combine than I am on the full one, so I won't show you that one. How you access the combine, so if you're a member of the tour, you'll automatically be able to register for the combines. They'll appear within your tournaments. If you scroll down, you'll see that there's different combines available, putting for points, putting, driving, and the one-shot combine is the one I showed. If I click on that, ready, start, it's going to take me to a custom designed course with different pins or greens, I'm going to call them. It's actually target zones located. You'll see that the first one is that red circle. As with all of the other things, you can use the approach cam to see what you're aiming at. You could use the green cam to look down at it, but essentially what I'm aiming to do is hit a 60-yard wedge. I won't try and beat that one. I don't think I'll do better. Then it will take you on to the next target, which will be a 70. I think you guys already know where this is going, so feel free to skip on in the video to the end, where I'll show you what happens at the end. Bit far. Could do with a bit of spin. None. Then it will take you to an 80. I'm not going to spend too much time on these shots because it's not about me scoring well, it's about trying to show people what's available. That's short, unfortunately, so it'll be about 10 yards short. Then a 90. That's more like it. Then 100. Not sure I'll get the distance for this, but I will hit the same club while it's in my hand. Nope, short, and actually didn't get picked up. Let me try again. I think the other golf ball was seen, unfortunately. It's a better hit, so I'm glad the other golf ball was in the view. Then 120. As I say, skip on if you're not interested in how well I score. That's pulled left. Then 140. Or 141. Push that one right. Then 160. Oh, it's a big 7-iron for me. I don't know if I'll reach. And that's pretty good. And then 180. Starts getting a bit messy when I get on the long irons. 181. Pulled that left and it's heavy. That's horrible. So that's the one that's going to ruin this combine. There's always one shot that does. And then you're going to finish with a drive. So as I say, on the full combine, you'll be hitting 6 shots each time. What I'm going to show you after this, though, is also one other combine, just to get a feel for it. So you're trying to get it as far and obviously straight as possible. Normally, the driver lets me down badly. That's actually pretty good, to be honest. At this point, it'll upload the score. Pretty much ignore that target. especially because it's set by Rick and it's better than mine. But if I go on to the online golf tour now and look at the one shot, refresh the page, what that'll do is, if I'd beaten my score, it would have updated it. But if I go into my combine here on the top left, I can look at the history of my combines. You can see I've just finished one there. As mentioned, the 180 unfortunately let me down badly. All the other scores were actually pretty good. 70 wasn't very good, I was a long way off. And you get your average total, so you can see if you're making progress. Now that's good for being able to work on parts of your game. And as I say, the short game combine's quite a fun one. You get lots of different ones with bunker shots or just chipping from the edge of the green, different distances. Again, I can go into these and show what they look like. But essentially, there is another tool that's available, which is a practice tool, which really lets you focus on your game and work on numbers and also go back and analyse your stats at the end. And that's one of the key things that hasn't been available until OGT added the capability. So if you go into your administration at the top, when you've got an account, you can go down to OGT practice sessions. This will list some of the practice sessions that you've been running, and it's got the dates and what kind of shots you've been hitting. Within the software, what you need to do is go into tournaments, private, and look for the OGT practice. There it is, OGT practice mode. When you click play, that is going to create effectively, it's going to load up a custom designed course and create a new session for being able to record the stats. Now, because the launch monitors don't clear, you don't have to tell it what club you're hitting, it's just looking at the golf ball. If you want to analyse your stats, you do need to go through and do what the PC guys would be doing and select what club you're going to hit. So in this instance, I'm going to hit a 7-iron. You can call up your map and choose which green you're targeting. So for me, 160 would be a very well hit 7-iron. So set your target on the 160. Grab your club. Probably shank it, but we'll see. I'm desperate to do one of these videos without any bad shots one day. Felt pretty good. So that's gone on to the 160. I'll hit another one, and obviously deliberately slightly miss-hit this one. Oh, I can't miss-hit them today. Again, okay, there's a couple, and then just for the sake of it, I would then go, I'll hit a short chip, so it's a 60-degree wedge. I'm just going to aim it at, well, I'll set my target dead straight. It doesn't need to be actually at 60 yards. Let me quickly go and select my 60-degree. I'm just going to aim it down the middle. I'm just trying to show you how you're going to, oh, as I throw a golf ball, my mistake. Pretend that I'm just going for there. That's pretty good as well. So it's actually 58 carry, so there isn't really a target set on this one because I've just aimed down the middle. But if that's gone 60 yards, this is 65, not bad. And then finally, I will get my 3-iron replacement, aim it at the 200 marker, select the club, put it as a 3-iron. I was hitting this horribly yesterday. And that's not brilliant. Not horrendous, but not, oh, that's gone miles past. Anyhow, I can then go through, and actually, what I will do is pretend let's say I forgot to change my club, and I hit a shot. I'll just duff this one. So I'm actually practicing, let's say I was practicing a little chip, and I did that. Because I'd selected the 3-iron, you'll see in the data how that appears. When I finished my practice session, I think, okay, I want to go back and really look at the numbers from the launch monitor, see how it's really been working. When you've done that, and you want to come back and look at your shots, you can go back into the Simulation Golf site, administration in the top right, where you'll have an account, OGT practice sessions. You can then go into the date of the shots. I can look at the 7 irons I hit. You can see your club averages at the bottom. 7 irons were pretty good, the 60, the first 3 iron was pretty good, and then the second one, I forgot to change my club. I was practicing just a little chip. So I'd like to go along and remove that one. You simply click remove. That'll take that one out of the equation, and you'll see that the averages now at the bottom have changed. And basically, yeah, analyze your data. You could share that potentially with somebody if you wanted to have some kind of coach looking in remotely at your data while you're hitting your shots. And all of the launch data is there in terms of backspin, side spin, launch angles, and allow you to work on your game. So for the first time, I'd say you don't necessarily need to be going back and forth between the software that's bundled with a SkyTrack or other launch monitors, and instead you're able to go in and analyze your data within OGT and Jack Nicklaus Perfect Golf. Every time that you go back in and start a new practice session, you'll have a new entry here. So if I did stop and go back into the session, under the same date, I would have a new one to go in, and I can go back and think, okay, I don't want to look at my previous data and remove any sessions that I was working on, to make sure that the only data available is the accurate data that you've been working on. So hopefully that's been useful. Just to show you the combines again, if you are doing any of the combines, under tours, active tournaments, OGT combines over on the right. If you start one and then decide, oh, that wasn't going very well, I'd like to restart, you can go into that combine and clear your current effort. It'll reset the combine. What that means is when I go back out to the main menu, go into my tournaments, look under private, and go down to, let's say, the short game, because I think that's quite a fun one. I'm able to then start the combine from the beginning again. And just to show you a couple of the shots. So on this, you get 3 shots at each of the setups. So the first one is a 51-yard wedge. Went 53, so a little bit long. I'm just going to hit 3 shots at that one. Oh, 52, so still a little bit long. Need to take a little bit more off. That felt better. That should just bounce on nicely. And then it'll set you on to the next one. Which in this case is 31 yards. Again, don't do what I'm doing. Don't think about carrying it 31, unfortunately. You've got to give it a little bit more thought when you're not doing a video demonstration and rushing it. More like a 25 carry. That's 27, still too hard. I must have just too much power. Wish it was true. Now that's probably the best of the bunch in terms of distance. I'm just going to show you the next one. I'm not going to do the whole combine because it's a little bit boring, but I encourage anybody that hasn't been doing the combines to get on and give it a go. Here we've got a little bunker in the way, so we've got to just do a nice little flop shot over. 15. Get there, got to get over. Not very straight, but decent distance. That's a bit thinned, but it should be fine. And so on. And compete for the leaderboards. Repeat it as many times as you wish. Come back and analyse your numbers. Again, I push that right. You can see this is probably the worst bit of my game. I'm very arms and wristy rather than doing it properly. And you keep on going through until you finish the combine. This is a nice one. You have to land it short on the hill and let it run down. And then when you're finished, you do what you did before. You'd go back. It would update you on the leaderboard. So down here I'm at number 8. And you can go back into your combine and you can view the history. My current one will not show on here. So you'll see that it's the 29th of May when I last did this. But you can go back and look and see whether you've been improving, whether you haven't. And it's a great way of playing the game. And of course, as mentioned, the guys at OGT are great in terms of the way they run the courses, the way the whole tour's been run. I've absolutely loved being part of the tour. I'm V8 Burble, so if anybody wants to register and get in touch, do so, or contact me at the hybridme.co.uk website. Any other questions, let me know. I hope this has been useful, and I hope it encourages people to look into Jack Nicklaus Perfect Golf and a season pass for Online Golf Tour to get on board. Thanks for your time.